Okay, guys, let's start off. So, first of all, welcome to this strategic business reporting session. My name is Luqman Rafiq, and let me just give you a brief introduction about myself. I've been in teaching profession for the last more than 13 years now, and I've been teaching different subjects for different qualifications. And the different subjects that I teach, that includes the financial reporting papers, which is the FR and the SBR. That includes the financial management paper, which is the FM and the AFM. Then there is this APM, and then there is this APM, and then there is this AAA paper. So there are 5-6 papers that I actually teach with respect to the ACCA qualification. So basically, I started off teaching as a part-timer, and then for the last 7 years, I've been doing this teaching as a full-timer, and I'm associated with this Scriber Academy. Plus, I'm associated with the other organizations also. And the core purpose of conducting this SBR orientation session is that a lot of students, I got a feedback from them that they were of the viewpoint that it's always good to have live sessions rather than having the recording sessions. So this specific batch, I have specifically launched for the June session. I'm not going to be doing the live batch for the March session. This batch is specifically for the June session. So what I will actually be doing is that I'm conducting and I'm targeting the June attempt because I want to deliver the 100% course live. I know there are a few of you in the class who are actually not here for the June 23 session, but who are actually for the March 23 session. So what I would tell you people is that don't worry about this. I've got a solution for you also. But for the time being, just stay tuned with me. Just stay connected with me. Let me take it through. And then I'm actually going to explain to you that if you are going to be attempting in March, how you can take this course, how you can take live classes in this course, and still prepare for the March session. I'm actually going to give you a guidance about it. So first of all, let's just start off with this strategic business reporting. And as you know, there is one thing that a lot of you people might actually have got some questions to ask. So what I would actually say is that if you have got any questions to ask, then just wait for me to actually end this specific session. I mean, like not just the whole session. I would want you people to just wait for me to just get over some portion of the presentation, and then you can ask the questions. In the meantime, you may just keep on typing down the questions that whatever you have, and I would be happy to answer. Okay, now first of all, the very important thing, very important concept, which is basically to understand that what exactly is there in the SBR syllabus. Now if I talk about the SBR syllabus, there are multiple aspects to the SBR syllabus, and this diagram in front of you actually gives you an overall idea about what are the contents of this SBR. So you could see that there are different sections, which is section A, the fundamental ethical and professional principles. Then section B, which is financial reporting framework. Then section C, section D, section E, F, and G. So there are multiple sections which you could actually see, and they all make up the SBR course. Now what exactly are these sections all about? What exactly are they going to cover up? So I'm just going to have a quick discussion now, and I'm going to give you an idea that what exactly is there in these specific sections of the syllabus. First of all, you would see that there is this specific section which says fundamental, ethical, and professional principles. Now, with every strategic level paper, ACCA has introduced the ethics. Why? Because ethics is now being regarded as an important area by every single professional organization, whether that be ACCA, whether that be ICAW, whether that be CFA, or whether that be any other organizations, any other chartered accountancy organizations, any other cost and management accountancy organizations of the world. So with respect to the ACCA SBR, again, The ethics is part and parcel of the course. And how can we expect the ethics area to be examined in the paper? So what you could expect the ethics area to be examined in the paper is that there are going to be multiple portions in different questions. Like for example, you are a company who has got a humongous amount of loan, and there is a loan covenant which is attached, and that loan covenant may be with respect to the profit targets, that the bank says if you are not going to achieve X amount of profit, we would want immediate repayment of the loan. So let's say if you are a company and if you have got a target to meet with respect to the profitability, and somehow or the other your profit is not being met. So what might actually happen is that your management may actually force you into doing something which is unethical. Maybe you might be involved in some creative accounting. Maybe you might be forced into doing some creative accounting. Maybe you might be forced into actually delaying the recognition of expenses. You might actually recognize the revenue early, etc., etc. There could be different type of things that could happen. So how you as a professional accountant, how you as an accountant would actually deal with such a situation, that is what is going to be important. I repeat, that is what is actually going to be important. So now, let me just guide you people a bit. Basically, in this specific area, which is about this, the specific area, which is about the ethics. So what exactly do you need to do with respect to the ethics? You need to understand that you would be given a scenario and you would be expected to answer that what are the different ethical implications that arise from the given situations, and how you as an accountant are going to act in such an ethical situation, in such a scenario where there is an ethical implication that you actually have to deal with. So how exactly are you going to be dealing with it? That is something that you would have to do. So this is an area of the syllabus, and you could expect that approximately this area would constitute 10 to 15 mark of the examination, 10 to 15 mark of the paper. So this area might actually constitute 10 to 15 mark of the syllabus. Now then there is this financial reporting framework, so which you also know that we call a conceptual framework. There is this financial reporting framework which we also call the conceptual framework. Now what exactly is this financial reporting framework which we call the conceptual framework? So let me just guide you a bit. Basically, we know that whenever we do accounting, so the accounting is done on the basis of IFRS. And when we talk about the accounting being done on the basis of IFRS, so all of the IFRS are actually have consistency. What is consistency? With respect to when the asset should be recognized, with respect to when the liability should be recognized, with respect to when the income should be recognized, with respect to how the expenses should be recognized, the disclosure requirements, etc., etc. All of the accounting standards have got certain consistency. All the accounting standards more or less interpret the same definition of asset. All the accounting standards more or less interpret the same definition of the liability. So basically, in order to bring a consistency across the accounting standard, in order to bring a consistent treatment of all the accounting standard, there has to be a framework. What do we call a framework? A framework is actually a guideline. Now what is that guideline going to be? That framework is going to be a guideline which is going to be a guidance for you that how any accounting standard should be made. How any accounting standard should actually be providing guidance with respect to accounting. So the conceptual framework, the accounting framework, that is part and parcel of the course, and from the examination perspective you could expect around 6 to 7 mark to be examined with respect to this area. So you could expect around 6 to 7 mark to be examined with respect to this area, which is about the financial reporting framework. Then as I move forward, there are these different sections, which is section C, D and E. I can just give you a bit of an idea that if I talk about section number D, I would say it's a 25 mark section. With respect to section C, I would say it's a 30 mark section. And then you could say this is 10-12 mark, you could say this is around 10-12 mark approximately. So overall, when you talk about the SBR syllabus, this section A 10-15 mark, section B 6-7 marks, that's a max. Section C 30, section D 25, section E again 10-12 marks, and section F again 10-12 marks. Now what are these sections C, D, E and F? I'm just going to discuss them a bit later. But let me just talk about this section D, which is employability and technology skills. Now what exactly are these employability and technology skills? Let's try to understand this. As you know that all the ACCA papers have become CBE papers, the computer based examination. And when you are doing a computer based examination, the whole idea of the ACCA introducing this computer based examination was ACCA actually wanted the students to be work ready. They didn't want that the student would go to the workplace and at the workplace the student would learn that how to use Excel, how to use the Word, etc., etc. They didn't want this thing to happen. What did they actually want? They didn't want that you would be using this Excel and Word, you would be learning the basic formulas at workplace. They want you to understand, they want you to learn all these things while you do ACCA. So that's why they converted all the papers on the computer based examination, which is, one of the reasons was that. So now when we talk about employability and technology skills, the employability and technology skills are majorly focused upon. I repeat, that technology and the employability skills are majorly focused upon your ability to use Excel, your ability to use word processing document, your ability to actually read the question paper on the computer, process the answer on the computer. That's what the whole employability and technology skills is. So as a student, what are you expected to do? You are expected to learn how to handle the CBE platform of the ACCA. That is something, that's a skill that you would have to learn. Now, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do in order to make sure that you don't have any issues in actually handling this area? So I would be, inshallah, I'll be doing maximum practice on the CBE platform whenever I'm able to. Again, because what happens is that the way SBR paper comes, there are different areas examined in every question. So it's at times not possible to do every question on the CBE platform, but there are some areas where the questions can be done directly on the CBE platform. So I would focus on those areas directly on CBE platform, and whenever it is possible to use the CBE platform, I'll be solving on the CBE platform. So that's what I'll be doing. Now, next we have got this section C, D, E and F. So we are just going to talk about it. I've talked about the A and I've talked about B. I'm just going to move forward and I'll talk about the other areas. Okay, let's talk about the syllabus area section C, which is reporting the financial performance for the range of entities. You do understand this specific concept that there are different accounting standards that you should know. And amongst the different accounting standards, there are a lot of standards that you have already studied at the financial reporting paper. A lot of you are coming from the exemption background, so you have not studied financial reporting. But majority of you have actually studied financial reporting. And I do know this thing that you have completely forgotten it. I do know this thing. So you don't have to worry about it. You have to leave it upon me. Inshallah, I will make sure that I take you people through in such a manner that you will be able to do it from the scratch, because I'm going to be doing it from the scratch. I'm not going to be doing it in the bits and pieces that assuming you know the FR knowledge. No. My way of conducting this class is going to be on the assumption that as if you know nothing about the FR, and that this is the first time that you're going to be discussing this accounting standard. That's how I'm probably going to be doing it. Now see, so the revenue recognition, which is about IFRS 15, you know about IFRS 15. a bit, but again revenue recognition, which is when we talk about recognition of sales, etc., etc. How are we going to be recognizing it? It's going to be through IFRS 15, revenue from contracts with customer. That's what we are going to do. So we're going to study this, we're going to discuss it in detail, we're going to look at different scenarios, and from the exam perspective, this could be given a star category standard, which is examined in almost every single attempt. Every single attempt you would see questions on IFRS 15, revenue from contract with customer. Then there is this non-current asset. So this is majorly financial reporting revision. You have discussed about the property, plant and equipment. You have talked about the investment property. You know about the government grant. You know about the, this agriculture, etc., etc., the biological assets, as we say. Then similarly, you also know about the non-current asset held for sale. And then there is this another standard which is about impairment. So all of the standards which are usually covered under this non-current asset area, they are the ones which you have covered up either at the FR level, or if you have not even covered in detail, they are going to be covered in detail over here. But again, from my perspective, how am I going to be doing it? I will be doing it in such a manner that as if you have never studied it. I'll be doing it from the scratch. I'll be taking it from the scratch. That's how my approach is going to. Financial instrument, another star category area of the syllabus of SBR. So majorly IFRS 9 is the area that's covered in here. So we are going to be discussing about the financial instruments also. We're going to be talking in detail, talking at depth about the financial instrument, that how do you recognize a financial asset, which could be your receivable, which could be your investment in some companies' loan notes, which could be your investment in some companies' shares, etc., etc. We are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about how the fair value at through P&L is measured. We would be talking about how the amortized cost approach is established. We would talk about how convertible loan notes are accounted for, etc., etc. There are going to be many things that we are going to be covering up. Then leases, IFRS 16. It's already covered up at the FR level, but again, there are a lot of areas which are not there at FR level. So we're going to be discussing them for the very first time at the SBR. But again, I'm going to be teaching the whole lease as if you are going to be studying it for the very first time. Employee benefits, IS 19. What is this employee benefits all about? So what actually happens is that as an entity, what actually happens is that you give benefits to your employees. The benefits could be in the form of salary. The benefits could be in the form of medical allowance, could be in the form of house rent allowance, could be in the form of insurance, could be in the form of vehicle, in the fuel and domestic servants and so on and so forth. There could be different type of benefits that you can actually give to your employees. Now, try to understand something. How exactly am I going to account for those benefits in my financial statements? That is what IS 19 is going to cover up. From the very first day when you studied the accounting, you have already covered up the basic salary expense. You always say salary expense debit, cash credit, or salary expense debit, accrued expenses credit. You have always done this. But at this SBR level, the IS 19 employee benefit is going to be discussed in depth. It would even talk about the pensions. It would even talk about the provident funds. It would talk about the gratuities, different type of things that it is going to talk about. Then you have got income taxes. You know that whenever we recognize the tax in the financial statements, so the tax is actually made up of two things. One of them is called current tax, and one of them is called deferred tax. And this deferred tax is something that the students actually don't understand. The students have a lot of problem in understanding the concept of deferred tax. They find it very difficult to understand deferred tax. What exactly are we going to be doing? We would be discussing this deferred tax in detail. I repeat, we are going to be discussing this deferred tax in detail, and we are going to be talking about different type of scenarios where this deferred tax is going to come into play. So again, it's going to be an important area. Then this area, provisions, contingent liabilities, etc., you have covered it up. Again, important from the perspective of SBR, because there are a lot of areas, there are a lot of scenarios where the cutoff issues actually arise. That recognizing the transactions in the correct period, or maybe estimating of the provisions, etc. There could be different type of complex scenarios that come in. But again, it's not an area which is tested in depth, so I am not giving it a star category area. This taxes and employee benefits are again a star category. Then there is this share-based payment. You would have heard about employee share option schemes. What exactly is this employee share option scheme? So when you have got employees, what you do is that at times you give your employee shares. At times you give your employee options on the company's shares. So how an entity is going to account for the shares that it has issued to its employee as a benefit? How an entity is going to account for the share options that it has given to its employees? At times you have got a supplier, you don't have cash to pay, you might issue your own company's shares. So how exactly are we going to be accounting for that? That is also going to be an area of significance and importance. If I move a bit forward, so there is this fair value measurement. It's IFRS 13. A very important accounting standard that has got implication in almost every single topic. That how to measure fair value. So what are we going to be doing? We are going to be discussing that how this fair value is established, how fair value is measured under IFRS 13. IFRS 13 is going to give us guidance in detail that how a fair value is established of an asset or of a liability. What could be different type of method, when to use market value, when not to use market value, how to estimate using cash flows, etc., etc. We're going to be talking about all this when we will be discussing IFRS 13 fair value measure. Then you have got some entities which are SMEs, the small medium enterprises. A small medium enterprises may not have enough resources to hire multiple chartered accountants. They may have a big business in terms of volume, in terms of number of transactions, but they might not be making big money so that they could hire multiple chartered accountants. And if those small medium enterprises, they have got some listing requirement, like in UK especially, you have got different markets. You have got London Stock Exchange, you have got alternative investment markets, you have got multiple type of exchanges where different type of organizations are listed. So let's say, for example, if you have got a situation where you have got a small medium enterprise listed on an alternative investment market, so on that basis it's very important that that organization reports in a proper manner. But again, that organization does not have access to resources. Even good chartered accountants may not be willing to work with that organization because it's a small organization. So what are you going to do? So IFRS for SMEs, which is the small medium sized enterprises, is a set of IFRS that is not extensive as the normal IFRS. It's reduced, it's compressed form of IFRS, where you have to prepare financial statements in accordance with IFRS, but the requirements of IFRS are restricted, are reduced, so that you can easily prepare the financial statement. So this reporting requirements for IFRS for SMEs is something you should know. You should know what's the difference between the normal IFRS. You should know what's the difference between this IFRS, so that you could have a bit of an idea. And then there is this other reporting issues, like there are this IS 24 related party, IFRS 8 operating segments, etc., etc. There are other types of reporting requirements also, that is what is also going to be examined. So this area of the syllabus It's actually covering majority accounting standards. I repeat, this area of the syllabus actually covers majority of the accounting standard, and it is one of those areas, I repeat, it is one of those areas which is examined in depth. It is examined in depth. So it's one of those areas which is examined in depth. Now, "30 marks is the weightage that I would say it has from the perspective of the exam. So that means you should prepare well for this area. We would be going through the accounting standards, we'd be doing the practice questions on those accounting standards. There's going to be, inshallah, a lot of practice on these all. If I move forward, the next area of the syllabus is again a very important area. As I said, approximately 25 marks is what you can expect from this area in the examination. And what is that area? That's actually the area of financial statement of group entities. So groups, which we also call consolidation. Now, you do know the consolidation that you have studied at the financial reporting, but again, every tutor has a different way of teaching consolidation. Every tutor has got a different approach to teaching consolidation, and I also have a different approach to teaching consolidation. The way I'm going to be approaching consolidation is that since the examiner now usually doesn't focus upon preparing consolidated financial statements, but it rather focuses on discussing about the consolidation scenario or doing part of the consolidation scenarios, that's what the examiner's main focus is. So again, my major focus is also going to be examiner specific. And again, I'm going to be teaching consolidation from the scratch, from the very basic. It's going to be very, very basic that I'm going to be taking the consolidation through, so that you people don't have any issues, you don't have any problems in dealing with it. So we are going to be talking about the situations where you could have two subsidiaries. You could have two subsidiary plus an associate plus a joint venture. You could have foreign subsidiary, and on top of this there is going to be a group cash flows also. You have not seen it up till now. So the group cash flows is also going to be an area that is going to be there, and that is going to be examined, and that is going to be part and parcel of this SBR course. I bet the group, the group cash flows is also going to be an area which is going to be part and parcel of the SBR syllabus. Now, so again, an area which is time taking, which requires a lot of practice, and again we are going to be doing in a lot of effort to get over with this specific area. Then you have got section E. It's a very interesting area that's been introduced into this SBR, and it was always there, but the way the examiner is taking this area, it's now becoming a bit different. Now see, when we study the financial reporting paper, we study the ratio analysis. We do study ratio analysis, that there are different type of financial ratios like profitability ratios, liquidity ratios, etc., etc. But and even we do get the analysis, we do get the questions where we have to interpret those ratios, that how to interpret those ratios and etc. But you know what? When it comes to the SBR, it's not just about those financial ratios that is examined. There is a lot more to it that is examined. Now, what is a lot more to it that is examined? Let's try to understand this. Basically, the examiner here focuses not just on the financial statement or not just the shareholders. He is focusing on a different stakeholders. There are different type of non-financial performance measures also that we have to calculate. There are different type of ratios that we have to calculate. So as a student, you would have to calculate, you would have to measure the performance. I would rather use the word measure instead of calculating. You would have to measure the performance from the perspective of different stakeholders. It's not just going to be shareholders. It's not just going to be lenders. It's going to be some society. it's going to be some group of stakeholders, some group of shareholders, it's going to be some government organization. It could be different type of situations that the examiner could actually ask for. So as a student, you need to be ready. As a student, you have to be very much ready that this is how it is all going to be. Now, let's move a bit forward and let's discuss further. So, you would over here be recalling the different ratios that you have studied. Plus, in addition to this, we would be going through different type of scenarios and situations where we would be using non-financial performance measures. We would be evaluating the performance of the organization from the perspective of different stakeholders. That's something that we are going to be doing. Lastly, there is this impact of changes and potential changes in accounting regulations. It is more commonly known as current issues. You would talk to any of your colleagues and you would ask them that what are current issues. They would know. Why? Because this specific area of the syllabus is more commonly known as current issues. What are these current issues? For example, a new accounting standard is issued. So the examiner might actually ask you what was the reason for issuing this standard, what was the problem with the old standard, what benefit did the IASB got by issuing this standard, so on and so forth. There could be different type of things that the examiner could actually ask for. So when the examiner is going to ask for different type of things, so you as a student would have to know that, okay, what was the reason for this specific new pronouncement to be issued? What is the impact on the financial statement? If the entity would have prepared financial using old criteria, how would it have been? So that's what you would have to do. You get my point? So generally it's a current issue and it's a bit technical because you cannot study the current issue till the time you have studied the whole area of the syllabus. So what I'm actually going to do is that I'm going to make sure that when we are discussing any specific accounting standard, I cover the current issues of that standard alongside that, so that you don't have any issue in dealing in the future that, okay, how are we going to deal with current issues? Don't worry. I'm telling you, I'm guiding you how to deal with the current issues. So that sums up the whole of the syllabus, that what exactly are the areas that are there in the syllabus. Now, if I move forward, so now the important area is that how is this syllabus examined? I repeat, the important area is that how is this syllabus examined, how is the SBR paper examined. So SBR paper is examined in a different manner as compared to the other papers. You have got other papers, you get section A, which is 1 question 50 mark. You have got section B, 2 questions 25 marks each. But when it comes to SBR, there are 4 questions. Section A, there is going to be question number 1, and question number 1 is going to be 30 marks, and it is going to be with respect to consolidation, but not solely consolidation. There are going to be other accounting issues, other accounting areas that are also going to be there. So it's going to be consolidation plus accounting issues. And then question number 2 is going to be of 20 marks, where there could be different type of financial reporting issues along with the ethical implications is going to be examined. So like you could expect 7-8 marks of the ethics, and you could expect around 12-13 marks of the financial reporting issues. So that's how section A of the syllabus is going to be. Now if I move forward and if I talk about section B of the syllabus, so what is this section B going to be? Try to see this. When you talk about section B of the syllabus, the section B is going to be 2 questions, 25 marks each. One of the questions, which is usually question number 3, is either on a specific area of the syllabus, like maybe whole question on IFRS 2, whole question on IFRS 15, whole question on employee benefits. It could be like this, or it could be a question which would be on 2 standards, 3 standards, something like that. Plus there is one more question which is basically XYZ area plus the current issues. So usually question number 4 in the examination is about current issues, which the current issues would be, it could be XYZ area plus some current issues, that what are the upcoming changes, what are the recent changes, what are the implications of those changes, so on and so forth. There could be different type of things and reasons that could actually apply to it. And lastly, one more thing, the whole paper, you've got 2 professional marks that are available. It's not like the optional level examinations which have got around 20 professional marks. So it's not going to be like this. But again, what is more important is the core areas of the syllabus. That is what you have to focus. So examiner, they are actually going to examine the syllabus in this manner. Okay. Now there are a few questions that you would have as a student, and I think that I should actually answer them. Today, 6th of January, we are commencing the course. Obviously, the today's class is more focused on orientation and answering your questions. And I expect, since I am covering for the June session, I expect this to end on the 14th of May 2023. The class schedule, hopefully inshallah, it would remain unchanged. It would be Friday and Saturday each week, and it's going to be 9 p.m. Pakistan time till 11:30 p.m. Pakistan time. So 2.5 hour session with around 10-15 minute break. So that's what it is going to be, or probably even no breaks, depending upon how the situation is, depending upon how you people get used to it. I am aspiring to deliver 100% course online. I'm not willing to give any recordings for this course, because I already have a recorded batch. There is no point of me giving the recordings, conducting this live batch if I have to give the recordings. I have the recordings. But again, it's on a special request. It's on a specific request that was being made by a lot of students, that I'm going ahead with this specific live batch, and I would encourage every single participant to try and attend the live classes. We inshallah gonna have these live classes on a continuous basis. Hopefully inshallah this schedule would remain the constant schedule over the entire 4.5 months. And every class that's conducted, you will be provided recording through our LMS also. And again, there's going to be a WhatsApp support and so on and so forth. And for those students who are actually giving the paper in March, so for the students who are giving papers in March, you can opt for the recorded course of mine, and alongside that you can attend these live classes also. So like those topics which I'm going to be covering in the classes up till the March attempt, I'm going to give you heads on that these are the topics that I'm going to cover up here. So you might actually not study them from the live session, from the recorded course, and instead attend them live. And the remaining portion you could cover up in the recorded manner. Fee for this course, it's a specially discounted fee. Why? Because I want to encourage people to attend this live batch, because over a period of time, unfortunately, the students tend to take things easy. They want to go for the recorded course. So our recorded version usually is more expensive as compared to this live one. It's $125, and there is a 20% early bird discount for all registrations till the 15th of January. So that means you could get it for $100 if you get registered by the 15th of January. Plus for those who are residing in Pakistan, because obviously there are exchange rate implications and all that. So the regular fee is $22,500 and your discounted fee is going to be $18,000. Plus in addition to these, we do have a policy of supporting students who are in financial needs. So you are most welcome to actually get in touch with us in case if there is a specific financial needs. In order to get in touch with us, you could use this WhatsApp number, of Scriber Academy, which is 92-345-828-722. You could use this number. You could get in touch with us and our team, and you would be guided about this. So that is basically a general orientation about the syllabus and how the course is going to be delivered and so on and so forth. So I would now open for the questions, and whatever questions you have, you may ask. Plus one more thing that I want to say, that I think there is a bit lag in the video, which I think that we are going to fix it in our next class, which is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to fix it. Okay, there are a few things that some of the students are asking, so I think I should actually answer them. I'm going to be running a similar type of session for AFM, and I'm going to be running a similar type of session for APM. I'm going to be starting them next week, both APM and AFM. So those who are looking, and again this is going to be for June, not for the March attempt. For those who are looking for APM and AFM, they could also get in touch with us, and we're going to guide you through. But for the time being, today is SBR session, so you could ask whatever questions that you have with respect to SBR, and I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, you can ask any questions that you people have. I am looking at the chat window to answer the questions. Yes, Muhammad Lamin Kawa, yes, I'm going to give you notes for the sessions and even the short notes also for the whole course. Okay, what else? Who else has a query? Please do ask. Yeah, please do ask. Please be a bit attentive. Please be a bit more participative. Keep on asking the question. I'm sure you have got a lot of questions in your mind. Just keep on asking them. Asad, the timings are not going to be changing, inshallah. There might be a bit of an alteration in the day, one day only, not 2 days. So like it's right now Friday, Saturday. It might actually happen that the Friday class might get shifted to the weekday, one of them. But the timings are not going to change, inshallah. It's going to be 9 p.m. to 11:30. Yeah, it's going to be the same time, Antonio, for the other subjects also. But obviously the days are going to change because it's only one me who's conducting all these 3 courses. So it's going to change for the other courses. Okay, please do ask other questions if you have. Please keep on asking the questions. The recordings would be made available through our web portal. There is a web portal of a Scrubber Academy, so you would actually get it through them. No, Mike Akoto, unfortunately don't have time right now for doing this AAA for live session. Unfortunately short of time. Maybe I might offer some fast track live, but not a regular course for June. Yeah, please. Yeah, inshallah, Asad, inshallah. Okay, mashallah, so many people are there. Just be more participative, keep on asking the question. We are obviously going to be having our class tomorrow, where we are going to be starting off a topic. And in that topic, my heads-on is going to be IFRS 16 leases. So it's something of a standard that you have studied at the FR level also. But there is a lot more to IFRS 16 at the SBR also. It's examined on a frequent basis also. So inshallah, tomorrow we are going to be doing IFRS 16 leases. That's what the plan is for tomorrow. And we're going to be doing it in good depth with the past examination questions also. Mike Akoto, you continue studying from the recording sessions of the March. That's a recorded course. And plus what happens is that for the topics that I'm going to be covering in live classes, you can attend live classes and you can cover them from the live sessions. Plus even Even if you have covered from recordings and you want to attend them live, you can take live. Otherwise, there is going to be discursive sessions, query sessions that I'm starting off from next week about the March attempt. But otherwise, March attempt is purely recording. Yeah, Asad, inshallah, this video lagging is going to be resolved. Even if it would have got resolved right now, also if I would have stopped my video from streaming, if you would have just streamed the screen, the video recording issue would not have been there. So the video lag is because we are not just, we are actually, the reason behind that is that we are streaming the whole video, and I want you people to actually look at the whole of me so that you could get more of like a physical class impression. That's what the whole agenda and idea is. Yes, Muhammad Lamin Kaba, yes. No. I mean, like for the live classes, I'm going to be using a different sequence. Okay, Osama, live lecture ke liye bhi. Osama, have you enrolled with me for March or what? If you are already for March, you don't have to pay for June attempt. I mean, like you don't have to pay for these live classes. You can attend them free of cost. That's okay. You can attend them free of cost. You don't have to pay. Asad Bashir, inshallah, yes. I had a lot of requests for live sessions because believe me, every tutor has stopped teaching live classes, and the major reason is because of the way students actually act, the way students, because you see what happens is that as a tutor, it's very frustrating when you are teaching a topic and maybe you are not able to finish it in the current class, you continue it in the next class, and in the next class, few of those students come in who did not attend the previous class. So it becomes very frustrating and very disappointing. Plus the attendances are quite low, so demotivating also. That's why tutors, they don't give live classes. So I've actually taken up this initiative after a lot of requests that I should offer live this session. Okay, if there are any other queries anyone has, please you are free to ask them. Otherwise, we are going to end the session today and we are going to meet up again tomorrow, and we are going to take up things from there. So I guess there are no questions as of now, and all of you have asked the queries or you have got answer to the queries. So hopefully, inshallah, let's meet up tomorrow. We are going to continue with start off with the IFRS 16 leases. That's what we are going to do tomorrow, inshallah. Yes, sure, we are going to do it. Thank you, Varsha. Thank you for for always being very appreciative. Yeah, thank you, Kay. Thank you, Faith. Everyone, thank you very much. Thanks for attending. Thank you for being here. And just your attendances is a motivation for us as a tutor. So keep on attending the live classes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Bye.